Alright guys, hey, I'm back. What is this, part 4? I think it's part 4. I took a little break in between. But yeah, I'm back here. I'm here in InDesign. And basically, I'm not gonna show you everything about InDesign. I mean, this isn't an InDesign tutorial really. This is more of a, book design and print tutorial basically. And so I'm gonna show you a little bit of some features here in InDesign that can help you in InDesign, but I'm not here in any means to really show you how to use InDesign. If you want to use InDesign, then I recommend going to the workshops that the school provides here for free. I think they're all done with now, but at the start of every term, at the start of every term, they I think it's Dana Duncan or it's John, what's his last name? I forgot. John something. They host these like workshops, and they're like on the weekends, and I think they're free or well, I know they're free, but I think they're on the weekend. They might be during the week, but they're usually like at night, and sometimes they're 5 hours long. You can come and leave, I think, as you please, I think. But they're really great, and they can they walk you through the whole program from my understanding. Also, there's also lynda.com, which I typically don't recommend because I think a lot of the videos on there are kind of dry. They're not very engaging, not very interesting, and so typically, I mean, I've tried watching them, and I'll typically like fall asleep or something. Now the one that I did show you guys, which was the Essential Training, I think it's by David Blattner. He's quite the fellow. He's kind of a personality. He's quite animated, so he's not that bad to watch. But yeah. So anyway, back to the point. It's like this isn't really InDesign demo, so I'm just here kind of introducing it to you guys, and hopefully what I'm showing you will help get you through this process with minimal tears. So anyways, let's get started. So what I'm going to show in this demo, in this part of the video series, I think is mainly just master pages. What are master pages? I'll talk about page numbering. I'm going to talk about paragraph styles. Unifying all your text. And I'm probably going to go straight into printing. I don't think I'm going to make that a separate episode. I think I'm going to try to cram it all into this video and try to make this the last video, but we'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear, so we'll see. So anyway, let's get into master pages, okay? So right now, if this were closed, I have this like little toolbar here. I believe in the default settings this will come up automatically, and so basically I'm working with this tab. You can also find the pages tab here, but quite frankly, you can do more stuff from over here. Even though it's almost the same thing, if you open up this tab, you're going to see more stuff. You'll be able to do more stuff by doing this. You're going to have all these different options from over here. And then also this gives you a visual, which up here it does not do. You just have these options right here. Oops, right here. Whereas here I have a visual also, which is going to help also. And then from here I can also do other things by right-clicking it, So this is the tab that I mainly deal with. I rarely do I go up here to use pages, So I just use everything right here. This has everything plus more. So right here, these are my pages. These are my pages for the book. Right now, just because something is highlighted, I may have gone over this in step 3, but see, I'm clicking through these things and I'm selecting it as I click these things. So that when I select this, it turns blue. Okay, that's the first thing you want to know. But just because something's selected, it doesn't mean that it's going to show it right here. I have to double click something and then it will go to that page. Okay, as well as being selected also. But I can look at this page all I want, and it could be page 8 that's selected. This right here can be used to bring down. Yeah, whatever. Up here in this top part of the pages menu, these are the master pages, and so you're gonna have two different sets, I think, by default. One's gonna be a none. This is a nothing master page, and this is a master page. The A master page, okay? And then also, I mean, if you wanted more master pages, you can come over here to this drop down menu and you can say new master. And by default, it will continue along the alphabet in alphabetical order. And you can just put it right here, and then I have a B master set, okay? Master pages are basically templates that you can overlay on top of your regular pages, and it will put, you know, on these regular pages whatever you have on these master pages. So they're actually really awesome, and you know, it really speeds up the workflow. Imagine yourself, okay, imagine you have this book, okay, and you right now you know you have 30 pages for the book. If you want to, I'm getting into page numbers, by the way. So I mean, you have a 30-page book basically, and instead of going to every page and you're putting down the number of page it is or whatever with a number, what you could do is you could go to this master page, and so this is what it looks like when you first click it. Don't worry, your pages are still there, they didn't go anywhere. What this is this is just the master page. Right now it's selected and I double clicked it, so that's what it's showing. I'm showing the master page. If I were to go back and double click these, it goes back to my book. But right here, this is my master page. And so anything that I put on this side of the page, you know, this left side, it will appear on these left sides if I apply the master page to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this left side, okay, and down here in the corner, this is where I want my page number to be. I'm going to make some page numbers real quick, and I'm just going to make a text box. See, I have the text tool up. I clicked that, and I clicked and drag, and I pulled it over, and I have this flashing, I'm sure there's a name for it, but this flashing line indicating that I can put text there. And so I'm going to come up here to the top. I'm going to push type. I'm going to say insert special character, and then from here I'm going to go to markers. I'm going to say current page number. So the current page number is going to appear. Right now it's going to be put as A, okay? And so this A, you see, it means that it's A for A master, okay? That's what it means. If ever on the B master, it should be a B, okay? So right now, on the left side of the pages, for any page that has the left master page set on it, it will appear the current page number. And so I'll show you guys in just one moment. What I'm going to do first, though, is I need another page number for this right side. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to select this. And so I know it's selected because I clicked right here within its own box, and the squares appear right here, so I know it's selected. And so I'm going to hold down the Option key on Windows, it's Alt, and I'm just going to click and drag it over. And so this is going to make a copy of it, okay? And then you'll also notice that oops, let me undo that real quick. I'm going to zoom out so I can do this a little bit clearer so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to hold Option, and it's going to copy that text box, and it's going to make exact same duplicate. Now you'll see as I'm moving it over, I get all these different guidelines appearing. Like for instance, right here, this means that it's that the left edge is exactly in the middle of the page. The left edge, not the rest of the box, but you can see those two purple lines along going this way vertically. It means it's in halfway of the page. If I line it up here, that means halfway, and the dialog box is halfway with the whole spread. So that's a feature of InDesign that's really nice. Right here, you can see the green lines up here, and it's showing that it's completely lined up with the other box, which is what I want. Now, if I hold Shift, it will automatically go in place, and it will stay along this you know, this horizontal, I guess, line lined up with its original owner. And I know that I have it lined up with this purple guide, so I'm going to put it right here at the purple guide, and then I'm just going to let go. And now I know it's all lined up. It's perfectly mirroring the other one, and it's ready to go. And so, almost actually, there's one thing that this one's doing that the other one's not doing, and it's that the A is lined up against this line on here, whereas over here it's on the left side, which, you know, it makes sense that it's exact copy of the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the text tool, and this is already selected. You can see the little boxes appearing around the lines. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to select this one right here, align away from spine, and then bam, it's where I want it to be. So that fixes that. So now I have a current page number set on both sides of my master pages, because that's what's selected up here. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about this in just a little bit, but I am going to apply the paragraph style, which is going to help unify all my text. And for this one, I think I'm just going to use a body text one. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to say body text. And so that's going to, I already have some presets in there. I'm going to show you guys how to make that. So you guys don't have to worry about that yet. I'm going to show you how to do that. So body text, and then come over here and select the text tool, click inside the box, highlight the A, body text, and then just put this over on here. It should have a plus sign. It's okay, I'll talk about that later. And then boom, good to go. So those have already been paragraph styled, and they are where they should be. The A is lined up where they should be, and we're good to go. So I'm going to go back over to my page tab. Here's my page tab. Now I am going to click this. I'm going to select this. I'm going to shift select the 8, which then it's going to select 1 through 8, all pages between 1 and 8, including 1 and 8. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to right click it, and then I'm going to say apply master to pages. So here's the thing. So apply master. So it's going to allow you to pick which master you want to apply. I want to apply number A. So A master, and then it's going to say 2 pages what? 2 pages, all pages. So I want all pages to be selected in this, because I mean that's all I have selected. So I'm going to push OK, and boom, it did it. It should have. Well, actually, I know it did, because if you look over here in the dialog box, here it says A, and if I highlight it in the little, I don't know, little boxy help guide thing, it says A master applied. So I know that this whole A master master page has been applied to all of my pages here, because they all have the little A. And if I were to highlight it, they all say the same thing. So if I would go over here and click on my A master, and I were to zoom in over here on the page number, you'll see that it says I have my Roman numerals. Aha. Okay. So that's one preset setting that I did not take off yet, because I already went through all this before I started recording. But let me see if I can fix that. I'm going to there we go. Okay. So I'm sorry, don't get confused by all that, but this is what you will see. So after I've applied my master page to my pages right here, this is what you should see. And it should say 1 starting here, and it should be ending at 12 if you have 12 pages open. But you can see if I zoom in on these documents, all the pages have been correctly numbered. So what I was just fixing just now, what I was getting rid of, is what you guys want to do though. It's because if this is your first page, I mean, what if this is your cover page, or what if this is the very first page in the book that has the title on it and like the author and all that stuff? You know, maybe you don't want it to be numbered number 1. Maybe you want your first chapter after your table of contents, after your title page, after your little spacing page in between those. Maybe after those pages, then you want to start as, you know, numbering it as number 1. You know, and so to do that, so that you get away from this being number 1, is what you need to do is you need to select the page that you want to be number 1. Okay, so let's say I want number 6. Okay, my 6th page in the book to be called number 1, and I start numbering from there. So this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, 4, and so on. You know, so let's say I wanted it to be 6. What I need to do is I need to go to this page, and so this is, and have it selected. So this is selected. I'm going to right click this page, I guess, you know, after it's been selected and all. I'm going to go in numbering and section options. Okay, and so this is going to allow me to control where I'm going to start my numbering. Now this could be a little confusing at first, but you know, just follow along. It'll be all very simple. So I'm going to go right here, go to new section. I'm going to say start numbering at 1, okay? And so this is very important to check, and this is very important to check. You want this to be checked. You don't want to worry about this right now. The style, I mean, I'm going to go over this in just a minute, but I'm going to keep it right here at 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? There are different styles to numbering pages, so I'm going to keep it 1, 2, 3, 4. I want numbers for my pages starting at page 6. 6 in the book, but it's going to be page number 1, okay? So I'm going to push OK. And don't worry about this warning. It's totally fine. It's just something InDesign has to warn you about. It's really nothing. So just push OK. What it's warning you about is, it's just a kind of a weird little quirk that InDesign has, and that's just because when you're starting a new section, you're having the same different page styles, the page numbering styles, then it just has to warn you that there are 2 of them. So I'm going to go over here. If you notice that on my page 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this became number 1. Okay. Actually, I'm going to change this up. There we go. This became number 1. So I just wanted to switch it so that the last page was number 1, and here this is number 1. I am going to add. Never mind. So this is number 1. So this is all good. The only thing is this is also number 1. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That can be quite confusing. And this could be my intro pages or whatever, and so I don't want it to be like that. So what I'm going to do is, if you notice, there are these little arrows, and so it says if I highlight it, start of 1, and you'll see that my cursor changes as I go on top of it. Same right here, start of 1, start of 1. And so the reason why that warning came up is, I think, I haven't read the whole thing, but this is what I've been told, is that it's because you have 2 conflicting page number styles. And so I'm going to click on that arrow, and then this box comes up automatically, the numbering and section options. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep all this the same except for this style. I'm going to change the style to, I'll just go with the Roman numerals, the I and double I, triple I, and then IV, so push OK. And you'll notice right here that this is all switched. This is all I's. And then when I go to my next section, on the 6th page in the book, but page 1, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And so this is correct. This is what I want. This is, how I'm demonstrating it. And if I zoom in, you'll notice that the pages have switched right here also. Okay? So this is all working great, okay? Now, look, so they're all numbered and they're all labeled, respectively. But maybe this is my cover page. Maybe I don't want a page number on this. Maybe I don't want page numbers until page, I guess, IV, okay? What do I do then? IV's right here. I don't want page numbers on these 3. So what you can do now is you move on over to the other master page that we have created right here, which is the none. And so if I select this and I click and drag it and I bring it on over to the very first one, this one, it's going to apply right here. And so this none is now covering up this. So there's no page number here. It's labeled here, yes, because it's still labeled here in the number and sections, at this point. But on the actual visual view and how it will print, it is not showing. Okay, that's important to note. Okay, same thing with here. If I see I have the page number here, I don't want it on this one either. So I bring over this none, and I bring it over, and then bam, it's no more master page. Okay. Or it does have a master page technically, but the master page that's on it is none. It's a blank master page, and you can apply a blank master page to it. It's still a master page applied, but it's blank. Okay, that's just technical, But basically it's gone, and so I don't want it on this one either. So I'm going to apply it to this, and then bam, no more. So now I have a nice clean intro. Maybe this is my cover page. The image, I just put it here because I was just demonstrating how to place an image. I don't know if that's where I put it in an actual book. Maybe I'd have it like more down here or something like that. That's cool. Or maybe I'd have it on like over here where I'm starting or something like that. That could be cool. I don't know. I can move it, no problem. Okay. All I'm doing is I have the select tool and I just click on the image and it'll move by itself. Yeah, so I think that's about it for the master pages and page numbering. Let me go into styles real quick. I'm going to go into paragraph styles. paragraph styles. Okay, so with the whole paragraph styles thing, back, in that PDF I was showing you that Gene created, and it was talking about typefaces and stuff. So what I recommend to everybody when you're making your book, so that you don't go too crazy with the whole fonts and everything, because fonts can actually really determine how readable your book is. If I changed font like every fourth letter, like, you'd have a really hard time like reading it. Actually, it'd actually be very difficult. It might actually start to look like one of those like serial killer like notes where they like cut the letters out of the newspaper and stuff. So it's like you really want to limit your choice on your fonts. And when you're just starting out, when you're just beginning and you don't know all the particulars and finer points of typography and how it works and how everything flows when reading, I recommend everyone just pick one font, but make sure that font has about at least 3, but I recommend 5 different styles to it. So for example, let me show you. I'm just going to show you on the sample page. Let's go over to the text tool, and I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to make a text document. And the font that I'm using right now is Helvetica, I guess New. I guess that's how you say it. It's not quite Helvetica. It's a more modernized version of the font. It's been updated basically. Helvetica, yeah, it's a good font. People are starting to get tired of it now. It used to be the go-to font for everybody, but now that everybody's using it, now it's become something of a default font. It's not as high esteem as it used to be. So I think this is like a kind of an updated version of the same font. You can see that it's kind of more elongated. It's a little bit more, I don't know. It's definitely more exaggerated than this font. This one, the differences are a little bit more subtle versus this font. You can see like the L's like bigger and stuff like that, and everything's a little bit more horizontally elongated. And so it's just different, right here, right here, not this one, right here. So yeah, so for this demo, I'm going to use this new Helvetica one. And so what I mean by styles is, look, this is one font, but there's so many different versions of this font. You have a bold italic, you have bold, medium italic, regular, light italic, light. You have all these different versions. And so when you're doing your fonts with all of these things, okay, I can tell you right now, all of these fonts would look just fine and very cohesive, unified, very professional next to each other. They all work together. All these shapes work together, okay? And if that doesn't quite make sense, maybe a different analogy. This font would not go very well with like this font, or like this font. This is a very completely different style than this font up here. So, I mean, do you get your drift? Do you get my drift? I mean, it's just you wouldn't see it in this font's world. You wouldn't see that other font. What was I showing? Right here. This would not appear in this font's world. Does that make sense? It's not similar enough. Yeah, it's the same letters and it's the same word, blah blah blah. But it's kind of like showing a Van Gogh painting next to, I don't know, one of the Orientalist painting. I mean, they're kind of different worlds. Van Gogh is thinking of a lot of different things than the Orientalists were. I mean, yeah, it's still paint. It's still subject matter. They're still working with light and dark, and they're still working with composition and stuff. Yeah, all the little elements are the same, but the finished result is completely different paintings. Completely different results. You can look at Japanese woodblock painting, and there are some things that are similar to it, but at the same time, there are a lot of things different. Compared to like Western painters or something like that. So kind of same kind of thing. So all of these though, they all work together. They're all the same font. They're just different, kind of versions or styles of the font. So when you're picking a font, that's the first thing you want to look for. You want to try to get at least 3. I recommend 5 or higher. This is a great one to use. You have many different options, and what I'm going to be showing to help unify all your text in your book, just to keep it simple, we're going to pick a header text, kind of something for your titles, anything that is like a new point. So maybe like you're going to name it chapter 6, color wheel or blah 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 blah. That would be like your title header kind of font. And so I'd probably use Helvetica, probably bold. I think that is what I used in my paragraph style. So if I were to do that, what I'm going to do is I would get the text I want. So I have it selected. I have the font and I have the style. And now I'll type what I want. Let's say I don't know, color wheel. Okay. And so then what I'm going to do is so when I'm making these paragraph styles, I'm making preset templates for what I want for that I don't know what you call it, for all different text heads, all the different title heads. Okay, so this is the example I'm giving InDesign to make for all titles. Okay, so I have to do everything correct on this first one, and then they will copy it and do it for the rest. So I'm doing this. I'm doing with bold. Now I'm going to pick my font size. To pick my font size, I have to highlight that first. And let's just jump it on up to, I don't know, maybe 38's a good size. I don't know. Whatever you'd like. I'm just looking at it in comparison to the whole page. And do I think that's big enough for a title? Yeah, I think that is big enough for a title. So I'm going to do that as my title. Let's I'm going to make this capitalized. I'm going to make this capitalized. Actually, what I might do for the title one, just to make it a little bit more fun, I'm going to make it all caps right there. And so that's going to be a setting also on my paragraph style. And am I happy with that? I think I am. What I could do also is I could make it a different color. Maybe I make it red. How about red? There we go. It's nice and red. It's color wheel. And everything's happy. So let's do that. I'm going to go over here to paragraph styles now. And what I'm going to do now is I highlight this. I'm going to say new. So this is like the same button as a new layer in Photoshop or in the layers tab or pages tab. Right now here though, it just means that it's a new paragraph style because I'm in the paragraph styles thing. This is basically a new whatever window you're in. So this is create. And so this is what it created. This is selected, and I'm going to go to paragraph style, and I'm going to right click it, push edit, paragraph style 1. You'll notice in here that everything right here, this is the style settings. So Helvetica, the new, I guess that's how you say it, new, there it is, bold, 38. So everything right here is right here, okay? Everything that you inputted right here, it all got sucked in and got put into here. That's what you want. So I'm going to name this, and I'm going to name it title head, and now say Helvetica, and then how do they spell it? N-E-U-E. There we go. So that's going to be my title for this style, and then I'm just going to push OK, and there it comes. It just came right here, and it's in my paragraph styles. So if I go over here to paragraph styles, it's always there. So how is that beneficial? Well, let's say I'm up here in this page, okay? And let's say I'm doing a layout, okay? So I'm gonna have a header, and I'm gonna call it test 1 example, okay? And then let's say I have some body text here, and for this body text, I'm just gonna quickly fill it in with placeholder text. And then let's say I have another example here, and then maybe another example, oops, let's move that up, like here, so it's matching with that. And then let's say I have one more right here. So I'm making a whole page right now. That's what I'm doing. And I'm going to fill this out with body text also. Fill with placeholder text. All this placeholder text is if I were to zoom in, you can see it looks like words. It's probably, it's probably based off like Latin or something. But basically, I think it's like an algorithm that InDesign uses to create letter sequences that look like words but aren't words, but can be used as placeholder. Basically it's a place where you can hold that spot and see how the document would look with this amount of text and not have to actually write anything to fill up that whole box. That's basically what it is. I will do that. Let's make this as neat as possible, I guess, just for demo purposes. I will make this right there, and let's fill this up right there, and let's continue this. I think I can do this. Bam. Okay, cool. And then so yeah, let's say this was like a page in like a, I don't know, like a magazine. This is a magazine article, and so I have my paragraph styles over here. And I've already made some already. It's the same exact process. I just chose a different style. Okay, so just to illustrate this, let's select that one with the text tool. I'm going to say the one that we just made, title head, Helvetica new, bam. Okay, it's done. Then I'm going to select this body text. I'm going to say the body text. This is what I've already planned out for my body text, and so that's good. Don't worry about this for right now. I can show you guys what that is later. This is just for demo purposes, and so this is all set up already. I'm just gonna get rid of some of this stuff. Bam. There. And then maybe I have I don't know. I could do the same exact thing for this. This could be body text also. Yeah. Anyway, you get the point. I just have to click this over here, and it's already got all those presets from up here, and I can just include it instead of having to. Okay, I'm gonna make this. Oh, what was that? What was the font I used again? Or how big was it again? I don't have to remember that stuff. I've already done it once. I saved it as a style, and now anytime I have text, I just type the text and I click the button, and it's done. Okay. So that's the point. It makes it so much faster. If you had to do that every time, you'd be there all day, okay? Especially if you had to make page numbers on top of that. What if you don't need that page anymore? You delete the page. Now you got to renumber all your page numbers again. This is why InDesign, doing it in InDesign is the best. We're going to talk about it when I go see you guys in person in class when I do this demo again. You can do it in Illustrator. Illustrator can't do this stuff. At least I don't think it can. It might be able to do it, but I don't think it can. This is an InDesign thing. Same thing with the page numbers. The page number thing, that's an InDesign thing. You can't do that in Illustrator. So yeah, Illustrator is okay. It can do stuff, and it's good for printing because it'll print vectorized shapes, which means it'll always come out like a true print. It's not rasterized. But man, if you don't have proper planning with that program, it could really mess you up. Like you could be there for a long time. Whereas InDesign, it's so forgiving. I can come right now and go to pages, and I could delete this page. Just delete page number 3, and then bam, it resets all my page numbers automatically, and nothing affected it, and I'm good to go. So I mean that's why working in InDesign, because of these things alone, it helps so much. The other thing you can do in InDesign if you want to be fancy is, I actually don't remember how to do it. You should look it up, but it's really great. You can do table of contents, and you can do what's it called? You can do a table of contents, and you can do I can't think right now. It's a little bit late. I can't think right now. But basically, it'll take every word within your document that you've written, and it'll lay it all out in a template that you can look up things later on. And it'll make it ready to print and everything. That probably didn't make sense. I'm so sorry. It's just late right now. But it's all good. So anyway, that's how you do paragraph styles. That's how you do page numbering. That's how you use master pages. Master pages, I mean, I only showed you for the page numbering, but it works for anything. I mean, if you wanted guidelines to always have on your template, so that you always have like a template, like you always want a header there. You can do that on your master pages too. And when you come over here, it'll always appear on your regular pages. I mean, just like Photoshop, these guides are not on the page, they're just there as guides, okay? But they'll always be there, no matter what, even on new documents, like if I were to set up a new page like this. You know, master pages, you can also create text boxes. Like maybe you always want a title right there, and the title is always going to be the same. So maybe, or maybe you have a bottom footer, and so like on every page on the left side, it's always going to say design 1 process book, okay? And so, and then when I come over here to you know, every page is always going to be on every page. You know, so it's not appearing on this page. I know why. The reason why is because it's on a different layer. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm not getting confused, but I did miss this in the process, so I'm glad I did that. Because I have a photo here, because you're all going to have photos on probably every page because of Photoshop, because we did that thing in Photoshop. Everything appears, if you look at it, everything that was on my master is appearing on every page except the one that I have an actual image on. And that's because if I go to layers, I was talking about how layers are a little bit different. You need to put them on a different layer. So if I go to my master and I go to layers after I clicked my master, right? If I click on this and I'm on my pages now, and then I go to layers, it's not going to show everything on my masters, okay? But if I go to pages, oops, if I go to my pages, damn it, and then I go to my master, and then I go to layers, then it shows the stuff that's on that layer from my master, right? And so let's click these things. I think, yeah, I have to click these things by highlighting these boxes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them on up to layer 2, okay? And so when it goes to layer 2, this is now the red layer, and so they turn red right here around this bounding box, right? And so now they're on layer 2. That's good. They're separated from the blue layer. The blue layer also has the layer, the sub layers, okay? All these little sub layers from my pages, okay? Even though they're not showing, that's because I'm on the master side right now, okay? I hope that makes sense. I will be clear with that in the class, okay? But I mean, if you guys are watching the video and you didn't have the class because you missed class, then just rewind back and you'll see what I did. But right now I'm on master. Basically, I'm on master. So if I click layer, it shows me all the sub layers for master. If I'm pages and then I click on the pages and I select the pages, I go to layers. Then it does not show me master ones. It shows me only the page ones. So hopefully that's clear. But so anyway, I move that over. See, if I go to master and I go to layers and then I come over here, these are all red now, right? Because I moved them on up from layer 1 to layer 2. So I go to pages. I'm gonna look at my pages. Now let's look at the picture one. It's there now. You see that? And now it has dots around it, okay? Everything that's in a master, and you look at the pages and you want to see and you see the stuff from the master on the pages, okay, these pages, it will always appear in little dots. So if I go over here, you see everything that would be on a master page that is appearing on the pages, it's always going to be in little dots, okay? And the dots are going to be the color of the layer that it's in. So right now these are from this stuff. It's from the master page A, okay? And the master A, the stuff that's on the master is in layer 2, which is red. So it's in the red layer, okay? So that's why you have red dots, and that's why there are dots, because it's in the master. So hopefully that's clear. And if I go to my picture, it's appearing on my picture now. Why? Because my layer that this stuff is on is now above my blue layer, okay? Because I imported this first, I think this became the bottom layer, which means everything that I posted on that layer after that, this one gets dominance. And so it was underneath this picture. And because this picture is not just the blue lines, it's also a white background, it was covering all of this stuff. So what I did was I took all this stuff that was on the master pages and I moved it on up above this blue lines on the red layer, okay? I really hope that's clear. but that's what I just did. Let me hide this real quick. And because something's wrong with my cursor, it keeps showing this yellow wheel of death. I don't know why. I guess that's not going to go away. I'm basically done anyways with this part. It doesn't really matter. It's okay. I can work with this. It's fine. But anyway, that's why the things weren't appearing before, and that's why they are appearing now, because they're on top. There. Oh, I'm glad I didn't miss that. I'm glad I got caught by that. Okay. Awesome. So, I mean, yeah, that's probably the basics. I think that's enough for me to show you guys, for you guys to get started, really. And that's probably all you need until probably week 12 or week 13. Week 12, week 13, you probably want to start thinking about printing your book in assembly, which is a completely different tackle altogether. And we're going to go over that a little bit right now as well. But this is all the stuff that I just showed you in these last 4 videos. This is all that you need to worry about right now. This is the important part. Yeah, let's get into printing real quick. Okay, so printing. So let's say I have my page spread. This is what I want. This was just a demo. So I mean, this is what I've got so far. I was just showing you how to do everything. If I were to make actual spreads, you know, as I was showing in Photoshop, I'd probably have like a text box there, maybe a text box here, one here. You know, I'd make these all nice too, and you know, lay out my whole book like that. You know, make it look nice. But let's just start into printing, okay? Printing, this gets tricky, okay? This gets tricky. Every term that I TA for this class and I do this for, I probably get the most questions on printing. And that's the whole reason why we have the printer parties, and you know, that's why I get them together, because there are just so many questions. I cannot answer them all on Facebook. I've tried, and you know, I continue to try, but some things, it's just I really have to see what's going on. I can't always see it on your guys' computers, and I can't always guess, because I mean, on top of it all, I'm really not that fluent at InDesign. I know a little bit about it, you know, and I've made plenty of books, but I mean, this is all I do. You know, I only make books in this, and so I might use InDesign just a few times a year. Really, I don't use it that often. Photoshop, I'm on it almost every day. I mean, if it's a Photoshop thing, I can usually direct you guys how to fix it without having to see it. But InDesign, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, this is all I know how to do. I mean, there's some other things, you know, there's some other features that are a little bit more fancy, like text wrapping and blah blah blah. But you know, this is what I know. So anyway, let's get into printing. So first of all, the first thing you really want to do is you need your total page count to be divisible by 4. Okay, that's important. It has to be divisible by 4. It has to be a multiple of 4. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I need one more page. You can see that right down here. 11 pages, 6 spreads. So I need one more page. That's 12. Bam. Okay. What you'll probably do is you'll probably want to select the last page and then give yourself a blank page at the end of your book. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it. If you have 9 pages and you really need that 9th page, you can't subtract 1. You need to add 3 pages, then that's totally cool too. Don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about having blank pages in your book at the end of your book or even in the beginning of your book. That's totally fine. Just make sure that you space them out so that it doesn't wreck the book's flow. Like if I'm going to have chapter 1 and then I need 3 blank pages and I put it in between chapter 1 and chapter 2, then it doesn't make sense. Like, why do I have blank pages in the middle of my book, okay? Even in the beginning of a book, it could be kind of iffy. Like if I do my title and then I do my I guess, foreword, and I do my table of contents, and then I have 3 blank spaces, and then I start my chapter 1, that could be kind of like weird, you know? Like why is that doing there? Or, you know, maybe I have my title, then a blank space, then my forward, and then my table of contents, and then I have my book, and then at the end of the book I have 2 extra blank pages. That's totally cool. Who cares about that? That looks a lot better than having them all together in one spot, or whatever. And I've seen blank pages in the beginning of books all the time, and at the back also. It's just kind of like a spacer. It helps the book. And then later on you'll find if you start doing this with professionals, like now it's very rare that I bind my own book. It's actually very rare. I'll usually go to a professional and have them do it, and they'll request extra blank pages just because it gives I forgot the term they use, but they're the pros, and so it creates kind of like a breath, a space between the cover and the actual book, like the meat of the book, and so it's actually it looks nicer, and so the request. So it's just good to do in your books, anyways. Hopefully that makes a little sense. So, anyways, long story short, you need a book that is divisible by 4 with your total amount of pages. So right now I have 12. That is divisible by 4. Okay, 4 goes into 12 3 times. So I'm good to go now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up this book for printing for Coptic stitch. Okay, that is the most preferable method that we will accept when grading your books. There are other methods like Japanese stab stitch, or perfect binding, or maybe saddle stitch. There's also Janet binding. In person I can show you guys how to do Janet binding, but just for the purposes of this demo I'm showing you Coptic stitch. And so for Coptic stitch, you want to go over here to File, and you want to go to Print Booklet. Okay, do not go to Print. You want to go to Print Booklet. Okay, Print Booklet. What it's going to do is it's going to come up with some like a default settings. Right now I have it on my own settings because I'm going to show you which settings I used to create my little mock-up, which I will bring to class and show you guys how I did it. But yeah, so these are the default settings that I used for my mock-up. And so the first thing I'm going to do, let me come over here to print settings, actually, and say preset. And I'm going to say Coptic sample, and I'm just going to save it. Good. Okay. So now what I can do is I can show you both settings. I can show you the preset settings, and I can show you my my default settings. Okay. So default. These are default settings, I believe. And so it's already on 2-up perfect bound. If it's not, then just change it to 2-up perfect bound. Okay. You're going to be printing all the pages. You're going to be wanting a signature size of 4. And this is preview. All it's warning me about is that the booklet doesn't fit the current paper size, because on the print settings, if I go to print settings and I go over here to setup, right now it's set up on US letter, and we all know that I set up my book for printing on half of 13 by 19, 13 by 9.5. So 13 by 9.5 is bigger than 8.5 by 11, which is what it's showing right here. It's bigger. It's bigger by this much, okay? And so as a spread, though, it's bigger by everything that you see in the red. So it's showing it as spreads right now. So, I mean, that's what we want, so that's no problem. We want spreads. So that's easy to fix. We just go to print settings. We're going to go to here to setup. And what we're going to do just for now, okay, at home, when you're printing the book, what you want to do is you want to come over here to Super B, and you probably want borderless, okay? And you would just select this, okay, 13 by 19, and you want the long way, I believe. You want this way, I think. Let me check that actually. So I'm going to push OK. Go to, yeah, I think this is what you want. It should be. It's still saying it's not fitting the paper size. Maybe I think it's okay. I'm gonna go print settings. I'm gonna say I'm printing on this paper size. Okay, so my document is a tad bigger than 19. It's bigger by 0.0139. So I mean, like, when I say barely, it really is barely. So who cares? I'm just going to say scale to fit, and look at that, it's 99.62%. So it should be fine. So I just push OK, and it's fixed, and it looks like no difference, right? Because it's 99% of the way there. More than 99% of the way there is. So don't worry about that. If you run into that problem, it's totally cool. So that's all good. This is on to a perfect bound. That's what we want. And setup. Okay, so this is important too. So this is your marks and bleeds. You don't really have to worry about marks, really. I mean, not at all, really, for this. This you might have to worry about in the future. I mean, possibly. If you use another printer and they're asking you for a printer setup PDF, then you may want to ask your printer if they want all this stuff. Most printers nowadays, they don't care about any of these stuff because they say that they're going to do it themselves. So it's totally cool. But you want to check with your printer before you do anything. Most of us are going to be printing our own stuff on our own printers. That's the point of having our own printer. So really, we don't have to worry about this stuff. So I wouldn't worry much about this stuff. You do need to worry about this, though, if you're going to have a bleed. The bleed is when you have an image and it goes off the edge of the paper horizontally. You know, it goes off the edges of the paper where you will put your hand to hold the book. And so that you're going to want, and just default settings or whatever that may be. This is document bleed settings, so this is going to use the default ones that have already been preset for the document settings, you know, so that's totally cool. If you want to use your own, then you just unclick it and then you can type in your own settings. So I think typically you want like 1.5 inches or so, but I'm just going to let it take care of that. That's totally cool. I'm sure they got that figured out. Okay, so for output, so this can be tricky also. So these are all grayed out, and that's because this printer is not as high a level of printer that InDesign can take. If it were a higher level printer, then you have more options, and some of these options are really worth it. I think the composite CMYK can be the best, I think, and well, maybe it's the best for home use. I think separations is actually the best. I'm not 100% sure on that, but composite RGB, that's gonna be great. I wouldn't worry about that. And right now, I think in my printer settings, it's set to InDesign handling all color, so it should transpose my RGB to CMYK for printing purposes, and I wouldn't worry about that. It's gonna be just fine. If you're printing on a black and white printer, like a grayscale printer, then you don't want to have this checked. You want to check it to the composite gray. But we're not worried about it. We should all have color, so we're just worrying about this. I'm just explaining the printer settings for that. What we do probably want to do, though, for this is we're going to do the text as black. And it's just going to make it easier to read. You know, it's not going to be 80% black. It's going to be like 100% black, so that's going to be great. All of this other stuff, I don't think we really have to worry about it. Right now I have it in InDesign, as I was saying, determining the color, so that's good. Advanced, yeah, we want 300 DPI. Don't switch this. This is just a summary of everything that we just went through, so that's no big deal. And yeah, I think we're good on that. So we're just gonna push OK, and so it's saying one blank page has been added to create the booklet. See page 9. I wonder why that is. There's the blank page. I don't know why the blank page has been added. It's a multiple of 4. Okay. I don't think that's gonna matter. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to switch it to my settings, to the Coptic. Yeah, it's still like that. I don't know why that is. That is weird. It didn't just do that like an hour ago. So let me push cancel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few more pages. And let's just see if that did anything. Honestly. Huh. Let's take away a page. Let's make it 15. It should be a multiple of 4 though. That's what I'm not getting. Yeah, 2 blank pages now. So that did something. There we go. That's weird. I have 17 pages, which is not a multiple of 4, but being a multiple of 4 is important. I don't know why that is. See, the printer settings, they can be very confusing. I know that no matter what, even if I were to print it on 16, it should still work, just because I know how I'm going to bind the thing. So it should still work. Don't worry about that too much. And I'll play with this some more to figure it out. That's the thing, though. I just did this about an hour ago, and it worked just fine for me. So I don't know what happened just now. I even printed out a little mock-up on 8.5 by 11. It worked just fine for me. So go with these settings for now. If you need to experiment later, that's cool. We'll figure it out. And that's the kind of the point of the printer party. Because we're going to try to get everybody there. Not everybody. I doubt everyone will show up. But I invite everybody, and we usually go to like South Campus, like 870 building, or we'll go to possibly the 950 building if we get clearance, but otherwise probably 870 building. And we have all the different students who do have printers. They just bring their printers if they're cool with it. And usually we'll have at least 2 printers there, but we've had as many as 4 or 5. And we just all stay there and print our stuff. And then anyone who doesn't have a printer, they bring their own set of ink cartridges, and they print their book there as well. And we just put on a movie and we just have fun while everyone's printing their stuff. And then if there are any problems, all of us are there to try to figure the thing out, and then we figure it out for everybody. So it works out every time. It's really great. We usually do that like week 13. So I'm not that worried about this right now, and really it's a minor problem. If it were a big problem, then this would have flashed red. This didn't, and so I'm pretty sure it would still work because I just did it, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But that is weird. So yeah, see what you guys get, and then we'll experiment with that part. But anyway, this is the next part of the tutorial, so let's go on to this. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go to my Coptic sample. I'm going to go print settings, and what I want right now is so this is where you select your printer. For now, just to make a test, do a test. You want to do a test. You're going to want to do this with the real thing too. But for now, just a test. Let's change this to PostScript. We're just testing it. We're making a mock-up, and we will have this on US letter size, okay? And so I'm scaling this to fit so that it actually does work on my thing. And this is just a test at the moment, and so I push OK. And right now it's scheduled to, there we go, nothing. It all worked. It's working now. Nice. Oh wait, no. I still have this extra page, that's why. I don't know why that is. That's weird. 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. That's so weird. I don't get it. I changed something in there, I'm sure. I think I did something wrong. But it looks like it's going to work because nothing's warning me, so it should be fine. But anyway, that's all good to go. And right now it's going to print to PostScript file. And so what that is, it's just a file where I'm allowed to edit it later on. It's not going to print, but it's going to save it to a file. And so if I push OK and I push print, what it's going to do is I can save this test to recorded, because I'm recording it for you guys. And so actually I'm going to save right there. So I push save. There's overset text on these pages. Okay, I don't care. Overset is it's going over the boundary lines, so that's fine. That's no problem. So it just saved. So what I can do now is I'm going to bring it on up. Here it is, right here. I can just click it. It's going to open up. Page 2 of 8. So that's cool. It was 6 last time. Okay, so this is what I get. So this is a 2 up. So what it's doing is, so I do have page numbers on these things. I think I should. Yeah, yeah. Might have done that wrong. I think that's what happened. I messed up on the page numbering. Okay. Which is fine. This is 910, this is 811. You'll notice that some of the pages don't match up with each other, like this 4 and 7. That's totally fine. That's what you want. Because some of them are going to fold in on each other. So that's totally fine. So what I did from this point is I save it. I export as a PDF. And so I'll make a PDF of this, right? And this is just for me. You know, I'll make a PDF and I'll save it out. And then the next thing I do is I go over here to File, and then I'll print. This is where you're actually doing the real printing now. So I'm doing the print. It's on US letter. It's the correct way. It's this way. And so if I go through these things, all my pages are ready to go. And they're like I said, they're kind of mixed up. That's totally fine. We want it like that. And so what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go over here, Preview. I go to Layout, and from Layout, I make sure this is all good. This is all good. So now I go to Paper Handling. And paper handling is, I want pages to print, and I'm going to do odd only. And so what this is going to do is when it prints, it's only going to print the odd number pages. And you want to take note of what, how your paper is situated in your printer. If you have a 1430, I believe that this side, this corner, is going to come out on the left side first out of the tray, and it's probably going to be the last page, depending on what order you have your pages coming out in. But for me, this is the last one that prints, so this is the one that's on top. And so then what you want to do is you want to take those pages and then you put them back in the printer, and you want to flip it horizontally and then flip it 180 degrees clockwise, okay, or counterclockwise, doesn't matter. But you want to flip it 180 degrees after you flipped it, okay? I hope that's not too confusing, but I'll probably be showing you guys this in class, so I'm not that worried about if I am being that confusing, if that makes sense. And then if I am and you missed class, well, I'm sorry, but you're just going to have to go trial by error. But I just gave you the hints. You know, you're going to have to flip it probably twice, once clockwise, and then once, you know, flip it completely around, you know, so that it's flipped horizontally, okay? So you're going to have to flip it twice if you have a 1430, and then you just put it back in the feeder, and then you're going to do this again. You're going to say print, but you're going to print even, and then it's going to print everything that was missing on the odd pages on the back side of the pages that did print. And then you should have double-sided Coptic ready to print pages, and then you just fold them into each other, and you'll see that the page numbers do work with each other once they're put together, and from there you can start sewing them together. I know this part was a lot more confusing. It's okay. The printing part's always confusing, and like I said, every term it's always the part I have the most questions on. If it is any help, I would say just rewind the video and try to listen to me again. But you can always also message me on Facebook. You know, just find me on Facebook. I'm Jonathan Fish on Facebook. And you know, you're totally welcome to add me and then start asking questions. And then the other thing is look for the printer party. We should be having one. It's probably going to be week 13. It's probably going to be on a weekend, you know. You definitely want to make sure you have your paper by then. I will say right now, before you print your book, you always want to print out a mock-up, probably on very cheap paper, like 8.5 by 11. You know, see if it prints correctly. It's very if I go through the print, all these print things, and I have all the correct settings, and then it's on 8.5 by 11 paper. Just switching this to, you know, Super B, wherever that is, you know, to the correct paper size. That's not going to wreck all the settings. It's not going to change anything. So make sure you always do a test print first. If it prints correctly on this, then it's going to print correctly on the Super B. Okay, this is 13 by 19. It's going to print correctly on either size paper. Just make sure that it prints, that you print the mock-up first. Okay, so make sure you print it correctly first on 8.5 by 11. One thing to keep in mind, since I am thinking about it, is when you do print out your mock-up on 8.5 by 11, make sure your scale to fit is checked on, and then when you switch it to Super B, which is the 13 by 19, make sure that it's checked off, and then you have it to real scale, because the real scale, you've already scaled it right here. If you do run into a problem where it's 99% 0.6 whatever blah blah blah, it's like basically there, then yeah, click the scale to fit, and it should be just fine. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the whole workshop / tutorial thing on Photoshop to InDesign. I hope that all makes sense. I know that the whole printing thing, I know we ran into that small little loop where I wasn't sure about the whole 17 pages, but honestly, it just worked an hour ago. I really think I missed some setting that just happened, and even if I printed, it should still work even though there's a blank page, because the blank page, it should end up at the end of the book. So that's why I'm not worried about that. So I don't think it would matter anyways, even if I did print it, because it's only one blank page. If you're in the middle of the book, then we might have some problems, but I think I was looking at the page layout, and I think it's at the very end of the book. So that's why I'm not worried about it. Or not the book, but it's at the end of this whole page section. Like it would have been like page, I think 11 or 10, something like that. So I mean, you guys can go back in the video and see if that's true, but I think that's what it is. So I'm not that worried about it. But yeah, we'll take a look at it in class when I see you guys for this demo. Yeah, I hope everything worked out for you guys. Hopefully that all makes sense. And yeah, message me on Facebook. Find me on Facebook if you guys need it. Jonathan Fish. Oh, one last thing. Actually, it's not up anymore, I don't think. Do I have it right here? Yeah, one last thing. So I do have this PDF for you guys, along with the book design PDF from Ching. This one I just found on the internet, and it's not a bad read. It's actually pretty cool. I don't know if you need all of this stuff, all this down here. I mean, it'll help a little bit how to do an outsourced imposed PDF file. So I mean, that can help. That's kind of what we're making anyway. We're doing a PostScript file right here. We are doing a PostScript, so I mean, it could help. But this is what I thought was pretty cool. For Coptic stitch, 2-up perfect bound. For Japanese stab and accordion, then you want 2-up consecutive. For saddle stitching, 2-up saddle stitch. This is what I thought was really helpful. It's showing you how to do these things with which mode to print it in, and it's showing you how these things translate. So if this is my signature right here, these are the printer's spreads. This is where the bend in the book would be. So if I were to flip this like this book, this is 1, and then 2 would be on the back side of it. This is why I'm having you guys print double-sided. So 1, 2, and then this page showing right here, this would be 3. And then we have 4 right here. 3, 4, okay? 5, 6, I mean, it goes in order. So I mean, every page is accounted for. You see every page here except page 3, which is this white page right here, because 4 is on the back of it and 2 showing. So 2 and 3 are together. So that's why I thought this was really good, because some people, they get confused by it. You can see it right here too as a folded book, 1, 3, 5, 7. And this is why we have to print double-sided if you're going to do Coptic for this method. And then your signatures, they should all work together if you just make a bunch of these things. And then you sew them together like this. So yeah, in each one of these sections is a signature, and each one is, I think, 4 pages. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back. So you have 4 pages for each of these pages, which is, I think, 2 pages. So yeah. So I'll have this for you guys as well. So it should work out. Should work out. Hopefully, it all works out. But yeah, I think that's it. I really think that's it. If I think I was clear on everything. This was definitely enough to get you going. If for some reason you miss class tomorrow, which sorry. But this was, I mean, yeah, and I mean, mind you, this was just the first time. This was my first run through, so I think I got everything in here. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I'm sure the class ones will be better anyways because it'll be my second or third time or fourth time doing this, so I'm sure my class ones will be better. But this was definitely a start. So yeah, have a good one. That's gonna be it. Bye bye.